What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show. What's up, Dustin?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me. Ready to talk some football.
Absolutely. This is the 2021 Conference Championship recap. Two great games in the AFC and NFC Championship round. Let's start with Bengals Chiefs, the first game on Sunday in Arrowhead. Like we talked about this last week, the Bengals won in week 17, surprisingly, against the Chiefs, but that was in Cincy. To go to Arrowhead and win in the playoffs where Mahomes is undefeated against everybody but Brady. You know, last week we didn't think there was a very good shot of happening. You picked the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, I did. Like you said, it was a shocking win.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to week 17 and Jamar Chase went off for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns. And you figured the Chiefs were going to step up their game, like the Chiefs playing at home, the rematch after losing, that the Chiefs were going to bring their A game and likely beat the Bengals by double digits or something like that, right?
Yeah, I agree. Yep, by double digits. But at first, I thought it was going to get ugly there for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, early on, the Chiefs go up big. They're up 21-3 with 5 minutes left in the first half. I mean, it was looking like a blowout, and it was looking like, a lot of people said the Bills-Chiefs game was the AFC Championship game, and that was looking to be real at that moment. I mean, none of us could have saw with the Chiefs up 21-3. None of us could have predicted the second half going the way it did. I mean, just mind blowing that Mahomes would not get it done in such a big game. What do you think on that?
Yeah, this definitely surprised me. I mean, I thought Mahomes was on a hot streak. You know, the Chiefs were on a winning streak and beating people by a lot of points, and I thought that would continue. But then again, you got to give a lot of credit to the Bengals, man. They made them second half adjustments, and it was great.
The Chiefs almost look like the way they did in the first half of the season when they were 3-4 in that second half. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you've seen Mahomes actually be human.
Yeah. And when CJ Uzama goes out on the second drive of the game with a knee injury, that was a big loss. That compounds the feeling like the Bengals had no shot.
Yeah, and then but they all stepped up and played very well.
Mahomes going into this game in 3 conference championship games had 9 touchdowns and no picks. So it
Wow.
just seemed like, go ahead. It just seemed like he's unbeatable.
Yeah, those are pretty good stats, and I mean, the only man to ever beat him in the playoffs was the GOAT. So, well,
Yeah.
now, I mean, obviously.
Yeah. Until Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow, incredible. Um, let's see here. So then what do you think? I mean, I think a big aspect of this game, the Bengals are able to make it 21-10 on a big 41-yard touchdown pass to Samaje Perine. That was huge. Big momentum swing play of the game after being down 21-3. At that point, this is Mahomes' stats before that touchdown. On 3 drives, he was 13 for 14, just 1 incompletion and 3 touchdown passes.
Wow.
Incredible. And then, so the Chiefs have an opportunity. The Bengals kick it back, and the Chiefs are driving. Potential to score a 4th touchdown before halftime. They could have gone up 28-10. They could have at least gone up 24-10 on a chip shot field goal with Harrison Butker, one of the most reliable kickers in the game. And Andy Reid decides to go for it, and Patrick Mahomes throws it outside the end zone. He throws it behind the line of scrimmage, and Tyreek Hill gets stopped short, and the clock runs out with no timeouts, and that's the end of the half, 21-10. instead of at least being up 2 touchdowns. What do you think of that decision by Andy Reid?
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me. In that predicament, you have to take points, but I can see where Andy Reid was coming from. I mean, the Chiefs' offense was hot. You know, you said Mahomes was 13 for 14 for 3 touchdowns. I mean,
Yeah,
but that in my opinion was a big momentum switch in the game because you hold them there and you get the ball coming out of half, right? I believe
yeah.
that's how it went, and then you take it down and you know,
Actually, I believe the Chiefs get the ball to start the second half, so they're trying to double it up, and I think they got greedy, and I think that I agree to your point that the Chiefs have been so red hot, but you always want to add points. 3 points is greater than 0. We've been talking about this all year, and I think the biggest thing to this is that the Chiefs had no timeouts. So if you're going to throw it, it has to be in the end zone. And, you know, I don't know, a weird situation. And Mahomes needs to know better. This isn't like Mahomes is a rookie. He's been in the league. He's been in these big pressure, big moments. He has to know you can't throw it behind outside the end zone there with risk of it being tackled short.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like, and it seems like after that pass, that was the downfall of Mahomes for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's like it got the Chiefs. It took the sail out of the wind out of their sails. It took the momentum away from them. Instead of being up 14, now they're up only 11. They get the ball to start the second half, but good pass breakups by Mike Hilton and Trey Flowers force a punt. What did you see the Bengals do defensively in the second half to slow the Chiefs down so much?
Well, when I was watching, I noticed that like they played a lot of 3-man, so 3 in the box, and then they had 8, you know, like
In
8.
coverage.
Yep, 8
Yeah.
in coverage, and I mean they were double teaming Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey, and they were taking the 2 best players out of the game, and not to mention they were getting to Mahomes with the 3-man rush.
Yeah. It was a complete flip, from the first half to the second because they couldn't make a stop in the first half. And in the second half, I mean, I think the Chiefs go, I want to say 5 or 6 possessions in a row without any points. I believe it was 6 straight possessions in the second half. Um, Joe Burrow, what it really impressed me about Joe Burrow in this game is that Chris Jones, the Chiefs' star defensive tackle, had Joe Burrow twice for a sack. And Burrow pulled that Eli Manning type, Big Ben type. Even Patrick Mahomes has done this where it looks like he's sacked and he finds a way to escape the sack, get away from it. And then when you escape a sack like that, the coverage loosens because they think the play's over and your receivers can get wide ass open because of it. Great plays by Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he stepped up when it mattered. I mean, the kid wants it.
Yeah, just incredible play. And I said this. Did you notice this in the second half? I think a lot of people did. The Chiefs defense especially, but both sides of the ball, flopping, trying to sell contact, trying to get penalties.
Yep, I did notice that.
Man, I don't like to see that in the NFL at all. And the Chiefs have a history of doing this. If you remember going back to 2019, the Chiefs Titans AFC Championship game, and Mahomes would do that along the sideline. He'd do a little flop as he gets pushed out of bounds, and he'd get a 15-yard penalty. And the credit to the NFL refs, they weren't calling it. They didn't fall for it. The NFL refs did a hell of a lot better than the NBA refs ever do at knowing when it's a flop versus when it's not. You know what I mean?
Yep, I agree 100%. Now, I do want to say one more thing. When we were talking about what the adjustments that the Bengals made,
Yeah.
they also managed to keep Mahomes in the pocket.
Yeah.
If you get Patrick Mahomes out of the pocket, he's going to kill you all game long.
And that was one of Tony Romo's keys to the game was keep Mahomes in the pocket, keep him contained, don't let him beat you with his legs, and not just running the ball, but buying time outside the pocket and allowing his receivers to keep working and get open. That's when a lot of his big plays come from. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything to say. I was just agreeing with you.
And then what do you think of Patrick Mahomes getting intercepted by defensive tackle BJ Hill? He tried, the Bengals bring some pressure from the other side. He feels it. He knows he has to get rid of the ball quick. He can feel that pressure coming, and he pump fakes, and then he just throws it. And the biggest guy on the field, defensive tackle BJ Hill, tips it and then catches it. I mean, huge momentum swing on that interception. And Mahomes, I mean, is that on Mahomes? What do you think?
Yeah, that's absolutely on Mahomes. I mean, plus the offensive line. He was able to create penetration to be able to tip the ball
Yeah,
and arms.
yeah, but incredible. And I think the Chiefs defense slacked a little in the second half too. There was on a touchdown, a 3rd and goal from the 2, and they've been doubling Jamar Chase all game, right? Trying to take Jamar Chase, the obvious number 1 weapon, out of the game. And so because of that, T. Higgins had a big game, which is kind of expected. But on 3rd and 2 at the goal line, they single cover Jamar Chase, one-on-one back shoulder for an easy touchdown. I mean, I feel like the Chiefs defense got caught slipping a little bit in the second half as well.
Yeah, I agree. And man, credit to the Bengals coaching staff for how often do you see Andy Reid, Steve Spagnuolo, and Eric Bieniemy getting out coached?
Yeah, absolutely. Incredible game, mind blowing, really. None of us could have predicted the Bengals to go into Arrowhead and pull this off in that atmosphere. Joe Burrow's supposed to be too young. This team is supposed to be too young. Zach Taylor's supposed to be too young and inexperienced to outcoach Andy Reid. And this Bengals team said, who cares? Fuck experience. We're going to outplay you. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, Bengals wanted it, man. And coming back from 4-12 last season to the Super Bowl, that is one of the biggest turnarounds I've ever seen.
And how about rookie kicker Evan Mcpherson? 12 for 12 in the playoffs. Hasn't missed a kick. Game-winning kicks against did he have a game-winning kick against the Raiders? I know he had a game-winning kick against who they play in the second round, the Titans.
Yeah,
And then a game-winning kick in this game.
it only makes sense to go 4 for 4, huh? In the Super Bowl.
And 12 for 12. If he does that, he's a legend, and he already is. I mean, these guys, Evan McPherson, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, if they pull this off, if they can pull off the upset in the Super Bowl, they're going to be Cincinnati legends forever, and they probably already are.
Not only that, but think of the kind of career Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase could have together.
Yeah, already such a hot start. And in my opinion, what we saw when Patrick Mahomes went to the AFC Championship game in his first year as starter, only to get beat by Brady, his second year in the NFL. Joe Burrow has that same feel, like just special. And you can see it. You don't need stats. You don't need any of that. Your eyes tell you the story on Joe Burrow. And that's going back to LSU. Going back to college, you could see special in Joe Burrow. And I don't think any of us expected it to happen so soon in the NFL, but it is. And I was saying this a couple weeks ago. Let's get used to Joe Burrow with a cigar in his mouth, celebrating these championships.
Yeah, I mean, the guy has a swagger. He's got poise. He's got a good football IQ, and that's all the intangibles you need to be a quarterback.
Yeah, Brady-esque, Mahomes-esque. Getting it done. I mean, if they can pull this off, it'd be so incredible. And what do you think about this? So the Chiefs come back down and tie it and send it to overtime on a Harrison Butker field goal. And the Chiefs win the coin toss. And Arrowhead goes crazy like they won the game. me, you, and Amanda talked about this last week about how they need to change the overtime rules. And my take was defenses get paid too. You got to make a stop. I messaged Chad Brown when the Bengals intercept Patrick Mahomes and give the ball back to the offense, and I was like, that's how you make a stop, Bills. You make a play and you give the ball back to your offense. And imagine if the Bills had done that and given the ball back to Josh Allen. That probably would have been the game. What do you think on that? Does that change your thoughts on it at all?
I mean, it does, but it doesn't. And I mean, you are right though. If defense goes out there and plays for a reason, and that's to make a stop when it matters.
Yeah. I mean,
And
growing up watching Bears football, we've never had the quarterback. We've never really had the offense. It's always been built on defense. And so I'm very much a no excuse type of guy. I was at that Bears Eagles playoff game, and a lot of blame gets put on Cody Parkey. I put a lot of the blame on the Bears defense for allowing Nick Foles to convert on 4th and goal. We were having a goal line stand. Championship level defenses make a goal line stand there and win the game. You know what I mean? And championship defenses come through in overtime in the biggest moments. You know what I'm saying?
yep, I agree. They do.
I mean, the Bills were the number one defense in football. Like, come on now, make a stop. If the Bengals can do it to Patrick Mahomes, so can the Bills. So that's my take on that. I tweeted as we were going into overtime. I tweeted, "Here comes Al Harris." I was referencing a pick six walk-off win, right? That's what I was kind of hoping. And man, it damn near happened as Patrick Mahomes hits Eli Apple in the hands, but he drops it. Imagine if Eli Apple pick sixed it right there.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty crazy ending, huh?
Yeah, he would be a legend too. And I mean, credit. Did you hear about this? So Eli Apple was on the Panthers, and head coach Matt Rule cut him. And Matt Rule said to Eli Apple, you're not gonna play in this league again." What do you think on that?
That's crazy.
Yeah. Eli Apple's not talented.
Well, I mean, think about Les Miles said that, Jamar Chase would never be a wide receiver.
Yeah. Some of these takes, man, are as bad as some of the fans, bro. From NFL coaches, college coaches, championship level coaches. Can't be saying some of this stuff, but it just proves that anybody can be dead wrong. You know what I mean?
Yep, and kudos to Eli Apple. Was told that and then said, you know what, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm gonna go show by my play on the field that I belong in this league.
Yeah. And what do you think of that interception by Von Bell on that Patrick Mahomes throw? That was kind of reckless, wasn't it? It wasn't a high percentage throw by Mahomes. You know what I'm saying? In overtime?
Yeah, yeah.
What'd you think? What'd you think of that?
I thought it was great. I mean, a great play by Bell and an even better play by the defender who batted up in the air.
Yeah, but I'm talking about Mahomes. Like, he threw it in the double coverage. It just seemed that's a Stafford throw, in my opinion. And I hate to rag on Stafford because he's in the Super Bowl too, but it reminded me of Stafford's throw to Tart. It's you just throwing it up deep, and it's not a very high percentage throw, and you don't really, you're throwing into coverage. It's risky. And in overtime, is that really the time to throw that? I don't know about some of the decision making by Mahomes in this game.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I guess he was just trying to do the shot to, end the game. So
Yeah, and that's what's gotten him in trouble. They've been talking about that all year, about how Mahomes is now taking what the defense gives him. He's not forcing the big play anymore. He's taking what the defense gives him. He's being patient. And I feel like in that moment, especially after almost throwing it to Eli Apple, he got too greedy and wanted to be too aggressive, and it came back to bite him.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
so the Bengals' first Super Bowl appearance since 1988. Here's some numbers on how bad Patrick Mahomes was in that second half. He had a career low 12.3 passer rating in the second half and overtime. He threw 8 for 19, which is 42%. He threw for only 55 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, was sacked 4 times, and a quarterback rating of 1.4.
Yeah, that's unexpected to come from somebody like him.
What does that do? What's the narrative on Patrick Mahomes going into next season? Is he now beatable? Does that take some of the shine off of his armor? Take some of the glow off of his unbelievable start to his career? That,
Absolutely.
huh?
I said absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, people have been calling him Superman, and it's been a rough year for Mahomes in general. A rough start to the season. They were able to get it going and be firing on all cylinders, and then a late season loss to the Bengals that pretty much cost them the 1 seed. You know what I mean? And a first round bye. And not saying that really mattered because they played a home game in the AFC Championship game, but he didn't get it done there either. So I'm interested to see how the Chiefs and Mahomes rebound next season after a tough loss, a tough way to end the year. 2 years in a row now, they come up short of the ultimate goal. And, I'm interested to see how they respond and because they looked almost unbeatable, invincible. And now, the Bengals really showed their weaknesses. This is the largest comeback in conference championship game history, in NFL history. It ties what game?
Let's see. Probably the Super Bowl.
Nope. You should know
Oh,
this.
oh, was it the Colts and Patriots?
Yep.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Colts trailed 21-3 to the Patriots at halftime of the AFC Championship game and rallied to win, I believe, in overtime. And that was one of the more shocking comebacks because to that point, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, and that Patriots defense had owned Peyton Manning and the Colts. And this was their big statement to, come back from down 18 and punch a ticket to the Super Bowl. As a Bears fan, we had just beat the Saints. So I was celebrating and sitting back watching Colts Patriots and fully anticipating Bears Patriots. And then the Colts with a big time comeback. What do you remember about that game? Do you remember watching it?
I do remember watching it, and I thought we were done, but good old Peyton Manning and that defense stepped up, man.
Yeah. To that point, your defense, Robert Mathis, Dwight Freeney, Gary Brackett, really stepped up. And I remember that year the Colts had been going in, they were allowing rushing yards like crazy. They couldn't stop the run. And they really stepped up and stopped the run and played great defense that entire Super Bowl run. It was pretty incredible.
Yeah, yep.
So Cincinnati Bengals in the Super Bowl. Let's go to the NFC Championship game now. Niners Rams going in. The Niners had a 6-game winning streak on the Rams and had just won in Week 18 in LA to make the playoffs. If they had lost that game, the Saints would have made the playoffs. So I'm glad the Niners won. Glad they got in. The Saints wouldn't have done much in the playoffs. You picked the Rams to win this. What was your basis for picking the Rams to win this? Did you believe in the defense? What did you believe in Stafford and Cooper Kupp and OBJ? What was your thought process?
It was both. I mean, the defense is really, really good.
Yeah.
And I trust in Matthew Stafford.
Now, I mean, there was a lot of talk about the Niners defense coming in here and how they just had the Rams number. It was a good back and forth game. And early on, were you worried when Tyler Higbee goes down with a knee injury? Jalen Ramsey gets banged up. And Cam Akers goes to the locker room with a shoulder injury. Injuries piled up for the Rams early in this game.
Yeah, it was crazy, man, to be able to, have injuries like that and then come back.
Yeah, and power through it. Now Stafford gets the Rams on the board first, up 7-0 on a 3rd and 13. He throws a 16-yard touchdown pass to Cooper Kupp. And you know what really let me down in this game was there was a lot of hype about the Niners, especially the way they shut down Aaron Rodgers and that, Packers offense in Lambeau. And a lot of talk about the Niners defense. And they didn't really show up as well as they needed to, especially in the secondary. There was some secondary mistakes that really cost them in this game. And not always did the Rams capitalize on it. But this one on 3rd and 13, they allow Cooper Kupp to go to the back corner of the end zone and get open for a touchdown. It was a great throw by Stafford and a great catch by Kupp. But Ambry Thomas on this play, he's paying too much attention to Sony Michel on the underneath. It's 3rd and 13. Why do you care about a 3-yard pass to the running back? He needs to be playing deep and defending the deep ball on 3rd and 13. You got a linebacker there, plus you can come up. If you allow 10 yards on 3rd and 13, who cares, right? You just can't allow a 16-yard touchdown there. Do you agree?
Absolutely. I'll take 3 yards over a 16-yard touchdown any day.
Or even 10. You play deep. That way you allow the underneath and you come up and make a tackle and keep them short, hold them to a field goal. To defend the short pass and allow the deep guy to get open, that's just poor situational awareness, in my opinion.
Yep, it is. And poor decision making.
Yeah. And so big touchdown there. They go up 7-0. We were talking about Deebo Samuel last night with Kadri Ismail, how he can do it all. He catches a screen pass and goes 44 yards to tie the game at 7-7. Deebo Samuel led the NFL in yards after catch this season. That screen pass, Deebo, what can't he do? And he's so elusive with the ball in the open field.
Yeah, man, he's a spectacle. I tell you, I haven't seen a wide receiver play like that in a long time. Reminds me of a Cordell Patterson.
Yeah, he's got that quarter. It's the new era of Deebo Samuel, Cordell Patterson, receiver type running backs. It reminds me of a skill set of like Brian Westbrook and Matt Forte and Marshall Falk. Usually it's running backs that can catch. He's a wide receiver that can run. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now,
and
go
he
ahead.
can do everything.
Yeah, he's thrown for a touchdown. He's a returner. He can do it all. He can run between the tackles, which is so impressive.
Yeah, it's good to have a weapon like that.
Now, the Rams' next possession, a couple wide receiver drops come back to haunt him. Stafford hits Cooper Kupp in the hands, and if he catches it, he might go for a touchdown, and he drops it. A rare drop by Cooper Kupp. And then your boy, 7th-round draft pick, rookie, wide receiver Ben Skowronek. You know him out of Notre Dame?
Yep.
He's in the end zone, and it hits him in the hands. A chance to have a big touchdown in this game, and drops it. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I was like, man, how can you drop that? You're from the University of Notre Dame. Come on, man. Like they already get enough scrutiny about players being in the NFL. Catch that damn ball.
Yep. But, hey, he gets to play in the Super Bowl, and maybe he'll redeem himself. If he catches a touchdown in the Super Bowl, no one's going to remember that drop,
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Matt Gay subsequently misses a 54-yard field goal. So then it's 7-7. Right before halftime, Robbie Gold makes a 38-yard field goal to put the Niners up 10-7. And Robbie Gold, 21 for 21 in his playoff career. Let me ask you this. If you had Robbie Gold on your team as a kicker, would you cut him?
Absolutely not. He's good as gold.
Yeah, we'll tell that to Ryan Pace. As a Bears fan, I'm going to be bitter forever that Ryan Pace decided to cut Robbie Gold and sign Connor Barth and tell Bears fans that was an upgrade.
Yeah, well, we see what Ryan Pace is now. So,
Yep, unemployed. And then not only to sign Connor Barth, but then cut him and bring in Cody Parkey and take Cody Parkey into a playoff game. But I could go on for an hour or two on that.
let me tell
So
you, Cody Parkey is the most beloved man in Chicago.
he disagree, and he wasn't that night as we were exiting Soldier Field after that loss either.
I'm just playing.
A big play in this game, so the Niners are up 10-7. Stafford and the Rams are 4th and 1, and they decide to do a quarterback sneak, and Stafford is stopped just short for a turnover on downs. Were you getting worried in the second half as the Niners were starting to take hold of this game a little bit?
I mean, I was getting worried, but I wasn't surprised. I mean, they were 6-0 against the Rams, so I figured, it was just another Kyle Shanahan being brilliant.
How surprised were you, though? I mean, this is the 6th seed Niners. They had to fight just to get into the playoffs with a banged up and injured Jimmy Garoppolo. It was shocking that they were being as successful as they were, right?
Well, I mean, do you remember, I think it was week 15, 14 or 15, maybe 16 that I told you to watch out for the Niners and the Niners would be dangerous?
Yeah, they're just a well-built, very well coached. They play defense. They just find a way to win.
Well, it's for some reason, I mean, they have a game manager at quarterback, but it is that defense, and that's what got them to the Super Bowl in 2019. Last year, they would have made a run, but they, lost a lot of their key players.
What do you think about Trey Lance and going into next year? It sounds like Garoppolo is going to be gone. So Trey Lance is probably going to be the week 1 starter next year and throughout the entire season. He's a raw prospect. He didn't exactly ball out this year in his limited opportunities, but he showed flashes and big signs of potential. How do you think? Do you think Kyle Shanahan and OC Mike McDaniel and this Niners team can get the most out of Trey Lance and be successful again next year without the game manager quarterback?
Yeah. I mean, well, in my opinion, Trey Lance is a playmaker, so he's going to be able to make more plays,
Yeah.
Extend plays. No disrespect to Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G took the 49ers where, nobody thought he would, but it's just Trey Lance opens up the playbook. It's not like, hey, I got these 11 plays that I can run with Jimmy G just because you can only do certain plays with a quarterback of his skill set.
Exactly. And I have a hard time believing that a team with Trey Lance, who he's got the arm and he's got the ability to run the ball and threaten the defense that way. With the Niners run game, it doesn't seem to matter who the Niners have at running back, they're successful. To add Deebo Samuel to that, with Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, that they're going to find a way to be explosive and hard to defend on offense. Do you agree?
Yep, I agree with you 100%.
Did you see that taunting penalty on Niners linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair in this game?
I actually did not.
Yeah, they called a stupid taunting penalty on him. And what did I say all regular season long, bro? That this taunting stuff was going to leak into the playoffs as bad officiating. To their credit, the officiating for the most part was pretty good. But, man, I hate to see in a heated, emotional game like the NFC Championship game to see stupid, soft taunting penalties. No fans want to see that. What do you think on that?
Yeah, I mean, it takes the fun out of the game, and I mean, players are going to be excited, and for you to throw a flag because a player's excited, or he makes a big hit and he stares over somebody, they're adults,
Yep, they're grown men. with a lot on the line, legacies on the line, trying to win championships. Like, come on, NFL. And I watched an old playoff game this week in preparation for the interview. I watched Titans Ravens, and to see Ray Lewis and Eddie George after every run, Eddie George runs the ball, Ray Lewis hits him. They collide. They're both hitting each other hard, fighting for every yard, and then they get up and then they're in each other's face to face talking trash. That was good football, man. What's wrong with that? Why is that such a bad thing?
It's not at all.
I don't understand this movement to take emotion and talking out of sports. The NBA is the same way with these quick technical fouls. You see, Russell Westbrook had a nasty dunk the other day, and they called a technical foul because he dunked it too hard and had a scowl on his face afterwards. Like, come on, man.
They're throwing technicals for that now. Like, can you even dunk the basketball?
You can't get any softer than what the sports leagues are trying to do right now. So, frustrates me. But anyways, sound like an old man right now, but it's frustrating. Jimmy G, a 16-yard touchdown pass to George Kittle. The Niners are up 17-7, late third. And at that point, it's just feeling like the Niners own the Rams, and the Niners are going to the Super Bowl, and the Rams can't put enough points on this defense. But Stafford throws an 11-yard touchdown to Cooper Kupp, who, again, inexplicably is one-on-one, no safety help over the top, and beats K'Waun Williams into the end zone. I don't know what the Niners secondary is doing, but they allowed Cooper Kupp and OBJ and Skoronich to get open far too often in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp torched him, man. It was
yeah.
I mean, they should have took notes from what the Bengals did. I mean, play zone, not man to man.
Yeah. I don't know what happened, but it was lost, in that game. Then so at 17-14, early, like 9 minutes to go in the fourth, Stafford throws it deep, and it hits safety Jaquiski Tartt in the hands, but he drops it. Joe Buck on the call says, and it's intercepted. Oh, it's dropped. I mean, what the hell, bro? Dustin, that was the moment right there to intercept Stafford, put your offense back on the field, go down and score again, and that game's about wrapped up. I cannot believe Jaquiski Tartt dropped that. Can you?
Nah, man. And that's what has sealed the game.
Yeah. I mean, that's my worry. I know you're a big Stafford fan, but that's my worry on Stafford is that throw right there. That seemed like a poor decision. He threw it into coverage. There was 3 defenders back there, and there was really no receiver there. That was a jump ball, an easy pick for Tartt if he catches that. Do you believe Stafford can avoid those type of decisions in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I do.
What causes him to throw that, though? Why make that throw there? That could have cost you the game.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think it's too big of a moment.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. If Stafford can avoid that, he can get us a championship. And, this is going to be a big-ass game because no matter who wins, it's going to be a huge headline. Whether Stafford finally gets a championship and OBJ gets one and McVay finally gets one, or the narrative will be just so close for Stafford, McVay gets back to the Super Bowl but can't get over the hump. McVay will then be 0-2 in the Super Bowl, and the young kid, Joey Burrow, will have a championship already. So huge storylines are going to come out no matter who wins the Super Bowl. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah. One of the comments in this game by Troy Aikman, I don't know if you saw this, but the Rams got away multiple times with potentially delay of game penalties where the clock got down to 0 and it wasn't called. Some interesting officiating there. But I mean, I'm not blaming that on the outcome, but do you think, I mean, we've seen that for a long time, how, you're rooting, you're watching the game and the opponent, you see the clock hit 0 and you're yelling at the TV, like, throw the flag, delay a game. And it's like a full second or two later and they don't call it. The Ravens Lions game where Justin Tucker hit that amazing game winner from like what? How deep was that? Like 68 yards or something?
Yeah, I thought it was like 66, maybe.
Yeah. And Lions fans were freaking out about there not being a delay of game call there. And it should have been. Do you think the NFL should try to adopt like putting a shot clock buzzer or a horn when the clock hits 0?
I mean, yeah, I agree because I guess, but by rule, don't they have like a half a second after it hits 0?
Not by rule. It's the way it's set up. What has to happen is the referee that's watching for it has to look up at the clock, see it hit 0, take his eyes down to the ball, and see if it's been snapped or not. And so they allow a half a second to a full second of transition there, of like gray area. And sometimes you see it called boom right away as soon as it hits 0. And sometimes you see it allowed a second or to a second and a half of freedom there. And so it kind of depends on the officiating.
Yep, I agree.
So maybe they should look to put a shot clock or something, or a buzzer. But the Rams defense gets to Jimmy G on that final drive. He forces the ball up on 3rd and long and is intercepted, and that's the ball game. Rams win 20-17 and advance to the Super Bowl. A Niners Bengals would have been pretty crazy because that was the last time the Bengals made the Super Bowl. They faced the 49ers. Now this is something we've never seen before. Bengals, Rams, Burrow, Stafford. We've never seen Stafford or Burrow in the Super Bowl before. We have seen Joe Burrow play in the national championship game, LSU Clemson. He balled out in that one. What do you expect in this Super Bowl? Do you think it's going to be a shootout and two offenses dueling it out? Or do you think the Rams D-line can get pressure on Burrow behind that O-line? What do you expect?
Yeah, that was my key to this game. I think that the Rams defensive line is just too much for the Bengals offensive line. I mean, Joe Burrow can make plays, but when you got, big monsters coming at you on both edges, it's going to be hard.
Okay, I get that. I 100% agree. But let's compare the Rams D-line to the Chiefs D-line, which the Bengals did a pretty good job of protecting. How does Aaron Donald, Von Miller, Leonard Floyd, and those pass rushers compare to Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram, Frank Clark, and the Chiefs pass rushers?
Bruh, those guys are levels above, though.
Really?
Yes, Aaron Donald is the best, next to TJ Watt, the best defensive interior lineman in the league.
You don't think Chris Jones is anywhere close to Aaron Donald?
No, and that's no disrespect, but no, Aaron Donald is the best defensive lineman next to TJ Watt.
All right, but you could argue Von Miller's past his prime, right?
He is past his prime, but he's still out there making plays.
Yeah, but I'm wondering, how does Von Miller match up compared to Melvin Ingram? Because we talked about Melvin Ingram, how much of an impact he was all year.
Yeah. I mean, Ingram pretty much, turned that defense around over there.
So I'm saying this is what I'm trying to get to. I believe that if the Bengals can slow the Chiefs pass rush, maybe they can slow the Rams pass rush as well. And I agree. I agree. Aaron Donald's the best pass rusher, best D lineman in the game. But maybe the Bengals can protect better than we expect and give Joe Burrow a little time. And if they can, those weapons out there are unmatched. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon is going to be a key role in this. Samaje Perine. So who knows? We'll see. I mean, I think the Bengals O-line might do better than we expect.
Well, I mean, if they are, then that Tennessee Titans D line was damn good.
And it was. I mean, you're talking who they have: Danico Autry, Bud Dupree, some great
Simmons.
pass rushers, Jeffrey Simmons. So they had a so as great as the Rams D line is, I think that the Bengals have already faced some pretty good D lines as well. I think you'd agree with that, right?
Yeah, I agree. And
Even the Raiders, Max Crosby. Who was the other guy they got? Yannick Ngakwe. You know what I mean?
yeah, what do you think about that matchup? The best defensive back in the league
Oh,
versus the one of the best wide receivers.
yes. Jamar Chase versus Jalen Ramsey is must watch. I hope Ramsey follows him wherever he goes the whole game. This Super Bowl is going to be great. There's so many different storylines for it. I can't wait. Um, and then you've got Cooper Kupp on the other side. And who's going to defend him? Is it going to be Eli Apple? And they're going to have to, put a safety. They're going to have to double Cooper Kupp. And then you've got OBJ. And how about let's not get through this podcast without mentioning Tyler Higbee goes down. Undrafted tight end Kendall Blanton, who filled in very well. He blocked, he made some catches. Shout out to Kendall Blanton. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he could have a role in the Super Bowl. I really do. That's a guy to keep an eye on. So I know you're I got a pretty good feeling who you're leaning. Give me who you think's gonna win, who's gonna be the Super Bowl MVP, and what your final score is.
Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna go the Los Angeles Rams, Super Bowl MVP. This one's tough between Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with Matthew Stafford because it's a quarterback, award in my opinion.
Yep.
And the final score,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go 31-23.
Okay. I like it. I'm gonna go Cincinnati Bengals. And my reasoning is this. I've had my questions about Stafford all year long. He finally threw his first pick in this game in the playoffs, the NFC Championship game. I think he throws a pick or two in the Super Bowl. I think Stafford plays well overall. I could see 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks, a stat line like that. I think Joe Burrow, I've liked him since LSU. I picked him to beat Clemson in the national championship. The way you go into Arrowhead and beat the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, I cannot pick against you. Joe Burrow might be the guy. This might be the coming out party for Joe Burrow officially. And if I'm picking the Bengals to win, I'm picking Joe Burrow to win MVP of the Super Bowl. And I'm going to go with a score of 27-24 Bengals on a game-winning kick by Evan Mcpherson.
Oh boy.
And both of us have a great game, a 1-score game coming down to the wire. I think it's going to be a hell of a Super Bowl, and we're going to be in for a treat. I can't wait, bro.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be nice, man, and it won't hurry up and get here.
Yeah. Stay tuned. Next week, we should have a former player coming on for our Super Bowl preview episode. This will be 3 weeks in a row here, potentially, of having player interviews on. So we're going to keep them coming out. We hope you guys enjoyed the Kadri Ismail interview. If you haven't listened to it, check it out. It dropped last night on our YouTube. So that'll be fun next week with our Super Bowl preview episode. And Bengals Rams can't wait. Dustin, good insight as always. What if a defensive player brings home Super Bowl MVP like a Aaron Donald or a Jalen Ramsey?
I mean, it's happened before.
Yeah, it'd be pretty crazy. Or maybe Evan McPherson takes home Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, Dustin. Go ahead.
I got some. I got some quick breaking news. Doug Peterson hired as Jacksonville head coach.
There you go. Do you like that hire?
You know,
Super Bowl winner.
he is a Super Bowl winner, and he has a nice young quarterback, and he can develop quarterbacks. So I think it's going to be a pretty good hire.
How surprised were you to see Byron Leftwich pull his name out of the running in Jacksonville?
Yeah, that surprised me a lot, and I'm gonna do some research on why.
And I hate to bring this up, but once again, another African American candidate that gets, rumored to be hired, only to go back to your typical head coach that gets hired every year. Do you think this is going to change? Do you think this lawsuit? A lot of big names are speaking out. Tony Dungy, Marvin Lewis, Hugh Jackson, along with Brian Flores on this lawsuit. Do you think it's going to change and make some progress in this?
I'm hoping it does, but from the history of the NFL, I don't, unfortunately.
I hope it does. I almost tweeted out, because look at who the Vikings are hiring. Kevin O'Connell, right? The Rams offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like he's going to get hired. And two of the guys they were interviewing was Rams defensive coordinator Raheem Morris and Niners defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans. And neither of them get hired. It's very interesting that they're always candidates, but they never get hired. You know what I mean? And as of right now, the only African American head coach in the NFL is who? Only one.
That is, boy.
Steelers.
Yeah, okay. Mike Tomlin. Yep, that's right.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people were hoping Byron Leftwich would get that job. And I don't know what happened in Jacksonville, why he pulled his name out, but we'll see. I hope this, some change happens. Jerry Jones said recently, we can do better as a league at hiring diversity in the hiring and getting more African American head coaches and more minority head coaches. So we'll see, bro. But Doug Peterson to Jacksonville, that's pretty crazy. That's good for Trevor Lawrence. I'm not a big fan of Doug Peterson, but he's going to be better than Urban Meyer. I'll give him that.
Yep, I agree.
So thanks for coming on, Dustin. Good stuff as always. We'll make sure we'll get this episode out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And stay tuned. More episodes coming out next week in preparation for the Super Bowl. Have a great week, guys, and peace out.